If I told you that this was actual police response footage, at least half of you would have been like, yeah, okay, this is real. You want to know a harsh truth? I do think there are video games that could increase school shootings. This is my harsh truth. I started believing it today, that I do believe there are video games that could actually increase school shootings. And let me give you my example, okay? Because I know that might be a hard narrative to accept at first, but once you see what I'm talking about, I think you guys will 100% understand. Let's see if I can bring it up. Let's see if I can find it. Here it is. Have you guys seen this? Have you guys seen the trailer for this video game? Here's the hard truth. I believe when you look at games like GTA, it's very easy to disconnect yourself from the GTA character. It got a little weird once you got first person, but the people doesn't look that real. The violence doesn't look that real. It like, in comparison to like the 2-bit like characters that they used to have, it's not that real. It's kind of hard to put yourself in the shoes of that person unless you get the VR, and even then it's still not really that realistic. But and that's part of the reason why I don't believe that it can really have an effect on people's violence, is because it's very easy to separate yourself from like the GTA character. Now, this video game right here, for those of you who don't know, is called Unrecorded. And my only comment to this, I replying to this, and a few people got angry at my reply, but I didn't say this as if I still wouldn't buy the game. My only reply was that anybody who buys this game is instantly going on a watch list, right? That includes me, because I'll probably end up buying the game too. But this is a game that I genuinely think that nobody should give their kids, because I could imagine some demented children playing this game over and over and over and over and over again and getting like a power fantasy and developing it just due to how realistic it is. Watch this. Not to mention, oh my gosh, I would be scared of the people inspired to be cops by this game, because you're supposed to be a cop responding to calls, and this is body cam footage, and this is all not real footage. This is a video game, even though it looks unbelievably real.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
I see people in chat are still confused if this is real footage, video game engine. This is a video game engine. This is a video game. This is a video game. This, unironically, is the first game where I'm like, this actually could inspire school shooters. I could watch some people getting obsessed with this game and how realistic it is and getting inspired to do some shit. This is something I actually believe, like, one of the few video games that I think that they should take and they should like put it in like behind glass with a locked key. You know those things that are behind glass with a locked key? I hate it when video games are like that at like Walmart, because I just want to buy it. I just want to grab it and give it to the person at the front desk. This is one of the few games that I think that should be the case. What about digital sales? Like, dude, I don't know how it should be run, but all I'm saying is this should not be allowed with children. This is some pretty crazy shit. I don't know if you had Postal for many years. You cannot compare Postal. Okay, can we just like Postal, right? Let's look at Postal footage. So here's Postal footage.
Coffin lower into the grave with both parties.
Okay, there's Postal 1. Here's Postal
Bunch
2.
of enemies at you. Of course, we ain't no pacifists, so we go squat.
And here's what we're talking about right now. Dude, it's not even, don't compare those. It's uncomparable. Absolutely uncomparable. The fact, if you see those other things, you know instantly they're a game. Many of you guys are looking at this saying, is this real? Is this a video game? Is this footage? You can't even tell. You can't even tell. If I told you that this was actual police response footage, at least half of you would have been like, yeah, okay, this is real. What's this game called? It's called Unrecorded. Let me be clear. I'm not saying we should stop people from buying it. All I'm saying is if you have a kid, keep them the fuck away from this shit, unironically. Like, I couldn't imagine anybody under the age of 18 that would be appropriate enough, that would be age appropriate enough. Like 16 is like the lowest I could ever imagine a person playing, like being old enough or responsible enough or mature enough to play this game. And even then, it would make me feel uneasy. This isn't a real game. What does that mean? What's a real game? What does that mean? And by the way, I'm not the only person who had this take. You know who else had this take? Trainwrecks. Trainwrecks had this take, okay? And I actually agree with Trainwrecks a little bit. Like, I don't think we should need to like make new ESRB ratings or stuff like that to make it so no kids are allowed to play it. At the end of the day, it's up to the family, but I believe families should probably be a little bit more aware of what their kids are playing and keep them away from this shit, unironically, man. It does, one second. It does not look that realistic when you look closely. It's impressive tech, sure. I'm sure if you look closely at this footage, you can tell that it's a video game. Yes. But this is some of the most realistic shooting footage I've seen in a video game ever. And the fact that they're going for an untraditional angle, literally trying to replicate the body cam footage that has become famous in police footage, military footage, and also the footage of like mass shooters, makes me feel really uneasy, man. Makes me feel really uneasy.
Where the fuck is Oscar?
Either way, man, I'm excited for this game to come out. I'm excited to play it, but actually keep it away from children. Actually. Dylan Tipper Gore arc? Is this, come on. This is not a super hardcore Tipper Gore arc. I just think that there is some stuff that is not age appropriate for children. And I think a hyper realistic shooter game that looks like it came straight out of a actual like something that comes off of like Live Leak, right? This game looks like it came straight out of Live Leak. Live Leak, the video game. I think you should keep it away from children. We already have enough glorification of violence in our culture. You're booking hard, Dylan. Oh yeah, you're booming hard, Dylan. You're just fucking with me now. Wait, to be clear, are there people in chat who think that all video games are okay for like all ages? That this is a video game that'd be fine for like a 12-year-old? Like this is no different than Fortnite, really. Like all video games are okay for all ages, like nothing is not age appropriate. Yes? Yeah? You guys are fucking insane. You guys are insane. Okay, so let's get this out of the way. You guys are actually insane. So if you walked in on like a 7-year-old, like playing like some sex mini game or like some game that's like very sexual, you guys would be like, well, I mean, it's a game. It is what it is, right? If they want to be like in the GTA strip club and spend hours on hours there, that's perfectly fine. Well, of course, you'd be like, no, that's different, Dylan. That's different. That's sexual content. Well, okay. But why are we really going to say that violent, murderous content is going to be necessarily better for a young person, and that's okay for a young person? But obviously sexual content isn't. I feel like you guys' laissez-faire attitude towards life is leading you to just honestly not make what would be a terrible parenting decision. Some games are inappropriate for kids, but the school shooter stuff doesn't have any data behind it. I know there's not really any data behind schools, like video games being directly connected to school shootings, but if something's like basically designed as to be a realistic body cam shooter where like the bodies like fall the same way, the combat feels somewhat realistic, ragdolling, it's graphic, it's filmed from a body cam angle, like it does make me feel uneasy. It makes me feel really uneasy about this being played by, you know, just some nutcases. Makes me feel very uneasy. But I can't believe there's actually people in my audience who are just like, all video games are appropriate for all age groups. That's a ridiculous assertion. There's a million games like that already. Do you really think the graphics matter that much? I do think the more realistic a shooter is, the less appropriate it can be for a child. Yes. But let's not just pretend like all forms of violent and sexual media are okay because they're games and games are for kids. I feel like there's a very laissez-faire attitude about the type of media like your child consumes, when you should be a pretty active parent and like monitoring what your child consumes. Because you don't want your child consuming like sexual content at an extremely young age. You don't want your child possibly like getting sexually involved at a much younger age than would probably be age appropriate. And you don't want your child seeing extremely graphic, violent content at a young age that could possibly scar them, scare them, or lead to them acting in ways that they shouldn't be acting at a very young age. I'm not saying that like, oh, it should be legal for anybody under the age of 18 to play violent video games. All I'm saying is that this would be terrifying for a 12-year-old. And I'm not really sure what the type of effects of a game that is this realistic could have on people. I don't, like you could say we've always had games this realistic, but I don't think that's the case. The games are getting more and more realistic. I do think it can have a different effect.